you get back on that phone and you tell Barry Manilow how you feel. Now, if that's not peak comedy from the 90s, I don't know what is. I'm John Renton with the Retro View of Can't Hardly Wait from 1998, coming up on the 25th anniversary of this movie's release. And my goodness, 90s teens, especially if you were a teen in the late 90s, this is nostalgia and then some. The great thing about this movie is it doesn't take itself so fucking seriously while also dealing with serious topics as charm and wit and heart and humor, and really hits all the nostalgia, just taps into that nostalgia vein and keeps injecting and injecting and injecting. And I remember seeing this movie in theaters and enjoyed it quite a bit. And nearly 25 years later, it's on HBO Max as of now, and it was really, really entertaining still. And I forgot how loaded this cast was, especially for the late 90s and even into the early 2000s, seeing where some of this cast went. It's from the people Harry not Harry Belafonte, not to be confused with him, and Deborah Kaplan, who did Josie and the Pussycats, that I also retro-reviewed, and that was quite a trip. Rachel Lee Cook, holy shit, Rachel Lee Cook. This has Jennifer Love Hewitt in it, who is really rising up because she was in Party of Five. It just come off of I Know What You Did Last Summer. I believe I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Either was out around this time or is just about to come out. That movie was less than good compared to I Know What You Did Last Summer, but Jennifer Love Hewitt continuing to rise up and still looks exactly the same now. She's ageless. I mean, she probably maybe feels a little bit older when she wakes up, but nevertheless, you look at her and she's like, how? Has she found the Fountain of Youth? The Fountain of Youths? Let's move on from that. Ethan Embry. Whatever happened to Ethan Embry? It seemed like he was rising up as a pretty decent leading man, especially in romantic comedies. Charlie Korsmo, who was Jackie in Hook. Yeah, that's about all you're going to get me to muster here. Lauren Ambrose, it's funny, she had a really good role in an episode. It was either Law & Order or Law & Order SVU. Don't quite remember. But Seth Green, by the way, who never grew up, literally, because he's only about 4 feet tall. Peter Facinelli, and I'm not even kidding when I talk about the various people that were in this. Like, you might not recognize the names as much as you'll recognize when you see them. Michelle Brookhurst, Sean Patrick Thomas, who would go on to be in Save the Last Dance, and actually, quite frankly, I was wondering what happened to him recently. Jerry O'Connell had a cameo in this. Jenna Elfman, who, yeah, I would, and you would too. Jamie Presley, Clea Duvall, who also would go on to be in a whole bunch of great stuff, and would direct Happiest Season. It's a great movie on Hulu you should watch around Christmas time. Leslie Grossman, who would become more popular in various seasons of American Horror Story. Melissa Joan Hart, who, Clarissa Explains It All. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I think would be in Drive Me Crazy a year after this. That's another one I should retro review at some point, since the whole concept was based off a Britney Spears song. And Eric Palladino, not to be confused with the Paladin or Cecil the Paladin from Final Fantasy 2 or 4 in Japan. And yeah, it's just a nostalgia trip about a senior party where people are they want to hook up on their last night. Ethan Embry's Preston, he wants to confess his love to Amanda, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and because she had just broken up with her, significant other, who was Mike, played by Peter Facinelli, who was the high school jock and everything. And of course, he thinks he's too good for Jennifer Love Hewitt when anybody around my age at this time, I was 17 when this movie came out, you would have absolutely just, like frickin' moved mountains to be with a woman like Jennifer Love Hewitt. I mean, look at her now. Just think about how you were, if you're like me, and I know I am, and you were around the age I was at that time. I mean, it's impossible not to love Jennifer Love Hewitt and Neve Campbell. And, yeah, Party of Five actually spurred off a lot of good careers, at least for the 3 leading women. So, does the movie hold up? Yes, there are moments that don't. There are some gay slurs that get thrown out. For comedy fun, they make fun of a foreign exchange student, a German guy, teaching him all kinds of goofy things to say. But more often than not, this movie still holds up and hits that nostalgia vein and just has fun. It's fun. I had fun watching this. It's still fun 25 years later. The soundtrack, Walking on the Sun by Smash Mouth, Blink-182's Damn It, Graduate by, almost said Blink-182, that's Third Eye Blind. I saw Third Eye Blind as part of a multi-artist concert in like a freaking rec hall in Seattle. It practically was a rec hall. And let me tell you, boy, that lead singer, he definitely liked to party because he didn't sound good at all. Good thing Michelle Branch, Pink, and various other artists were on that same show. But I saw two in back-to-back years, so I might be getting confused. But a lot of great nostalgia on the soundtrack, and it's fun, it's breezy, but it has a little bit of heart to it because everybody can identify with some particular character in this, whether you were the jock that just thought he was too cool for school, or you were the stoner guys, or you were the nerds that always got picked on, or you were the goth type girl, or the awkward type girl, like Lauren Ambrose, her character Denise, or you were a bit of a wankster, you were pretty fly for a white guy. Boy, that's an old goddamn deal right there, like Seth Green. Or you were just a guy that did really well, like Preston, and you just wanted to tell the girl that you always loved how you feel. The running joke of Mandy by Barry Manilow being about his dog, but also being a song that Preston used as inspiration. Always good stuff. And they start with graduation, and then they're going to have the senior party, and it's going to be their last night. And some people just want to move on, like Denise. She's like, why do you want to go to this party? We're done with school. I remember actually when I graduated, and, I actually, when seniors graduate, depending on what it is, you could still go to school, and you could still, write out the rest of the rest of the school year if you want. And I did TA work and stuff like that. And I remember actually not, part of me was so happy to leave school, but when you got so used to that environment and various people that you talk to, I still live in the same city that I lived in when I went to school. And some people never leave, and they're able to do they're able to have a good life. Some people move just a number of miles away. Some people move to the other side of the goddamn country. There are still a few people I keep in contact with that I knew in school and just out of high school, like when I had, a big job at the theater, or at least my first ever long-time job at the movie theater, just a little bit past the school, actually. So it does hit a lot of nostalgia here. I mean, yeah, the gay slurs don't necessarily hold up. There is the running gag about these nerds, led by William, because Mike always picked on him. They were going to do something where they were going to drug him with chloroform, and then they were going to drug a couple guys, like him and a friend of his, and give them lewd, pictures and, pose them and everything, because gay stuff, again, some things don't exactly age all that well. And I'm not knocking the directors slash writers. I mean, I'm not knocking the actors. It's just you're like, But Denise keeps getting picked on, like, she's the socially awkward one. Preston has a letter that he wrote to Amanda a while ago, wrote multiple times, just wants to give it to her. The band, there's a band of, various high school students, Love Burger, not de jour, which Seth Green was also in the Josie and the Pussycats movie. And then Kenny gets an opportunity to date or go bang a girl, and he's got this bag of this love stuff and everything, all these condoms, all these condiments. When you practice safe eating, you always use a condiment. No, he had all this love stuff, this perfume, lotions, and potions and all that in the bag, and then he ends up getting locked in the upstairs bathroom with Denise because there's a faulty doorknob on there. And the girl whose party it is, Miss Brookhurst, she's freaking out and everything. And more comedy. Melissa Joan Hart's character trying to get everybody to sign her yearbooks. Buy my book. Buy my book. And then William gets too wrapped up in drinking to carry out the revenge on Mike. So he's like, I can't feel my legs. I have no legs. Great quotable stuff here. Really, really entertaining. At one point, Preston's going to give the letter to Amanda. And he sees her making out with some guy that actually turns out to be her second cousin by marriage. And I mean, sure, by marriage, gross though, especially when you're used to the person basically being part of the extended family. Gross, just gross. Not quite incest, but still, it was kind of ridiculous. So he's kind of upset. He's like, to hell with it. I'll have a heart-to-heart and everything with a German exchange student before I see that, and then he leaves. He's like, whatever. The letter, though, makes its way to Amanda's hands via plot conveniences. Denise and Kenny are talking to each other in the bathroom, the upstairs bathroom. They talk about stuff that they did when they were younger, stuff that they could do when they're older, but mainly just how they used to be friends. They drifted apart. And Kenny's too much of a wankster, really, and really tries to lay it on too goddamn thick, but actually is a genuinely good guy. Denise, really, much like Papa Roach would say later in the future, just wanted to be loved. Whoa. And then, because of the whole Mandy Barry Manilow thing, Preston gets on a payphone. Remember payphones? If you don't remember payphones, just don't comment. Please don't comment. I already feel old enough as it is. Yeah, he gets on a payphone, puts a quarter in there, quarter or 50 cents. I'm not exactly sure. And he's gonna talk to Barry and ask him what the song Mandy means. But Jenna Elfman, who's dressed up as an angel stripper, there's an image right there, a good image by the way. She hangs up the phone because her car broke down and she was part of a stripper party, basically, where a bunch of greedy guys are grabbing her ass and all that stuff. But she finds out that he was going to talk to Barry Manilow, but she tells the story about how she wanted to meet Scott Baio. Yes, Scott Baio, back to when people thought Scott Baio wasn't a complete buffoon like he is now. But she says, so you get back on that phone and you tell Barry Manilow how you feel. No, wait, that wasn't what it was. No, don't worry, kid. It's all right. I don't care. I don't judge. See, gay slurs, but at least she didn't judge that. Jerry O'Connell being in this. I don't know why Jerry O'Connell being in this was funny. But we also get William so drunk off his tits that I watch way too much British stuff, that he does a bad karaoke version of Paradise City. And various guys are going to tell Amanda how they feel right after Mike tries to get back with Amanda, but he's drunk and gross and awkward, and she just blows him off completely, like you were never a good guy and everything, and it's over. But in addition to guys hitting on her, she blows up Preston when he tries to confess his feelings because she doesn't know what he looks like. Now, she read the letter, she's trying to find who he is, but she doesn't know what he looks like. So then, oh shit, that's going to be it. Preston, meanwhile, is going to be leaving for a workshop or internship or whatever it is in Boston. But he's like, I need to confess my love. That didn't work. Denise and Kenny get together in the upstairs bathroom. It's a bit awkward. He kind of, it's a bit awkward during that, but also we get Blink-182's Damn It. We get the police showing up. Everybody's freaking out. Melissa Joan Hart's yearbook gets thrown into the pool. Nobody knows what the hell is going on because it's just so goddamn wild, but the comedy works perfectly. And then, because it was so awkward upstairs in that bathroom, Kenny kind of, reverts back into what he was and blows up Denise, kind of blames her for the awkwardness instead of taking responsibility, because when it's your first time or your first few times, it can be difficult. Trust me, guys and girls, it can be. It really can be. Then he later finds her and like, look, I'm sorry. I really shouldn't have said that. I should have taken responsibility. And Amanda does everything to track down Preston because she realizes what she did after she is going to sign Melissa Joan Hart's yearbook and then sees, oh shit, that's him. And I just basically told him that, he can basically go to hell. So, and the next morning, William and Mike were drugged by his friends and taken all kinds of pictures, and pictures were left all over. And by the time they realized what they did, the cops showed up. William basically got released because Mike, in his drunken stupidness, said, nah, it's all my fault and everything. So William got released. William tried to sit with Mike and his friends. His friends, by the way, there was a running gag where Mike was like, well, I broke up with my girlfriend, you guys break up with yours. But we can't because we're going to Pearl Jam, we're doing this stuff, so they can't do that because Mike realizes he let the love of his life go. He was probably going to realize he was a piece of shit anyway, and did. He basically kicks William out, and then we get the text stuff about what's going on with people. Mike lost his job and kept drinking and lost his scholarship. William had a software company and is dating supermodel because he was really smart. And then Denise and Kenny broke up and then got back together in the diner bathroom. And then we get a bit of an epilogue with with Preston and Amanda, where she's like talking to him. He's going to go off to the workshop. And okay, I guess, this is it or whatever. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should be single. It is fate. He drops his bag, goes to kiss her, run to kiss her because it's romantic and it's actually endearing. I was having fun with something endearing. Yes, me, of all people. and he caught a later train going anywhere, actually to Boston, and it turned out they are actually still together. And then that's it. Oh, and then the nerdy guys who wore various X-Files type T-shirts got taken up into a spaceship, seemingly, because comedy. Yeah, it's fun. Can't Hardly Wait was a lot of fun. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.